Hey there. So, figure I'd do a video. I've been, kind of give you a little bit about me. I'm Jeff. I'm also known as Jeff the Notary. But key thing is I've been operating in business off and on different businesses over the years for, I mean, gosh, well over 20 some odd years, give or take. But my key thing is um, one of the things that everybody kind of I see over the years, I've done a lot of gig work, right? Whether it's been in IT repair, notary, things like that. I've seen a lot of comments from people saying, well, how do you come up with your pricing, right? Don't take this and this, right? Everybody's got their thing, okay? And it's funny because whether you're in IT or notary, the words that come up is exactly the same. It's they don't pay enough and know your worth and all this stuff, right? And I've got a completely different thing I'll go over much later on. Kind of think I may make this a series, but creating a way of seeing how much you should be making per job. Okay, but what I want to do is kind of show you all. I got inspired on doing this from seeing all the comments in these groups, right, of how to do this or why do this, right? Give you a bit about me as a notary. I've been a notary since 2023. I'm the tri-state notary for West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky. And with that, my I do loan signings, and I have a 99% counter rate and roughly about a 20% acceptance rate. Okay. Now, the way I've figured this and learned how to do this skill is just simply of knowing my numbers, what I need per day, okay, to be able to make ends meet. And that's what I want to kind of show you all is how to find your numbers, figure up your numbers of, how to make ends meet, and then show you how to create your menu of pricing. I got inspired on how to do this from Notary Bill Soroka uh, on how to create this stuff. This was one of the things that I really never knew how to do. I was just doing market research, right? Seeing what the competitors price at and just kind of averaging somewhere in the middle. So with that, let me go ahead and just dive right in and let's take a look. All right, so as you can see here, hopefully I'm not blocking, no, I'm not blocking anything bad. So as you can see here, this is how to figure out your daily rate, okay? On this side is going to be your personal expenses, okay? And on this side is going to be your business expenses, all right? So we'll just break it up and do it section by section. So personal expenses, this is going to be pretty self-explanatory, right? If you are an apartment person, you're renting, or you own your own home, put your rent here, right? This is my mortgage payment. So I've got that. This is roughly food, and then these are my utilities, and this was all based current updated as of November 22nd, 2025, right? Depending on when you're watching this. My phone bill kind of varies because of the fact that I use Mint Mobile and it just kind of depends on the plan. Okay. This is my car payment and my car insurance. And then other items that I have. I've got life insurance and I've got some other things that automatically deduct accordingly. So then you want to add in, some goals, right? Do you want to create a savings account? How much there, right? Fun money, right? You want to go out, have, drinks with your friends, have pizza with your buddies, right? Whatever it is, you put that there. But I'm just kind of sticking with just my basic bills here, okay? So everything comes out to being, as you can see here, $2,789. So you take that and you break it down to a daily rate. So it's going to be that number divided by 30 comes up to 92.97. Okay, that's what I personally need per day to operate my home. Now let's go over here to the business side. All right, so these are going to be your business expenses. If you've got E&O insurance, just put that premium amount there, right? Whatever it is you pay per month. Now, your software, right? If you have some type of operating software, that's going to be calculated here. Now, as we can see over here, I kind of made it up, not made it up, but pulled it into a separate column by itself. I am subscribed to HubSpot, which is a CRM, a customer relation manager program, and I do annual renewals. So that's what this is annually, just broken down into 12 months. So $16 a month for HubSpot. And then I have Calendarly, and the biggest reason on that is where can be able to essentially the customers can set up an appointment with me, and then they get automation reminders afterwards. I have Box, which is a program that you can store documents in a secured fashion. So all that totals out to being that $41, right? So it just kind of pulls in over here. Now my supplies. This is going to be a big thing in the notary world for me, right? I mean, it's paper, printer, the different kinds of paper, printer, and then randomly ink, right? I've got enough supply of ink that I'm good for a while. But still, same thing, right? Let's put it over here. And then you've got your supplies listed out, whatever it is, right? For me, I have to have at least a case of paper a month or maybe every 2 months, but still, this is just regular letter paper, legal paper, and then toner, okay? So that gives my total cost of supplies being $115. So we'll just transpose it over here. Vehicle costs, being a mobile notary, I drive everywhere, right? You need a document notarized, I come to you rather than you coming to me, okay? So all this is really is fuel. I burn a lot of gas, okay? And then other business items as needed, right? This was, oh, what was it? Anyway, I forget what the exact item was, but you turn around and, if you need, you know, equipment, right? If you want to save for equipment, put that there. Any type of marketing that you do, if you want to create a marketing budget, put that there. If you want to create a business savings, put that there, right? If you want to plan for taxes, all right, put that there. But here's my total needs for my business, $442. And then same thing, we take this, divide it by 30, and that's how much my business needs per day to operate. So now what we do is we figure out what it is per day. And it's just a real simple math equation, right? It's just going to be my personal daily rate plus my business daily rate. So you combine those together, and my business in total, I need $107 to operate per day. Okay. Now you can take that and expand it a bit further, kind of predict what you're going to be making per month. You just take this daily rate, multiply it by 30, and then there you go. There's your monthly rate. You want to see how much you're going to make in revenue per month, per year? Just take the daily rate, times it by 12, and there's your yearly amount. Okay. But now, key thing on this is from here, you need to create your menu of items, right? And that's what this right here is going to be. So let's just say that you want to make $40,000 a year. Okay, rough estimate. Just grab a number out of the air, right? So that means you only need to make $800 a week or $160 per day to get to that $40,000. Well, as we can see, obviously, the $160 per day exceeds what you need to operate your business. In my instance, $107, right? So I'll have a bit of profit left over. And then from here, just create your menu of services. So you've got loan signings, trust delivery, apostille work, fingerprinting, wedding, I-9 appointments, general notarizations, going in on the IT side of things, phone installations, whatever it is that you're offering. Okay, and then you just kind of price it out. So this is, for loan signing, I would just need, $100, depending on what it is and how many pages, right? And that's kind of where my calculator that I've created that I'll show later on about kind of comes into play. But to get to that $40,000, right? Again, $800 a week, $160 a day, two or one loan signing at $100. I just need two loan signings, which is obviously $200 a day, and I've already exceeded my goal, which will cause me to exceed my weekly goal, which in turn will cause me to exceed my yearly goal, right? So the key thing is overall is just knowing pricing out your services, figuring up what the costs are going to be, okay? But the base thing of that is you've got to know what your minimum daily rate is to do that. Now, additionally, kind of doing some future planning on things, right? This came from a book called Profit First. Great book and has helped my business tremendously. But what you do is you have you essentially what Profit First is it's like the envelope system. Okay, um, you know, way back when people would try and budget their money and they put money into an envelope, and then if they got paid $500, they'll start breaking it down, putting stuff in different envelopes to pay money to pay bills with, right? You'd always pay your mortgage first, make sure that's paid, and then everything else accordingly. Well, same thing here, right? But for business, you're going to create different bank accounts. So you start off with your income account, right? If you notice, this matches this, okay? So say in a month you get $3,200. Well, you can move 5% of this into its own bank account, and that's your profit, okay? Your expenses, you can do 30% of the income into its own account, and that's how much your business expenses are, okay? Plan for taxes, right? 15% of the income. And then your owner pay. Being a business owner, you got to pay yourself, right? So 50% of the income equals $1,600 a month, right? And then it all balances out in the end. Like I said, this has helped my business. Implementing this has helped out my business tremendously. And I all day long recommend anybody that owns a business that you need to do the profit first system and get it set up. So with that, I hope all this helps out and helps things to be a bit more understanding on how to price your services, come up with your menu, know what you need per month to be able to make things work. So with that, be sure to like, follow, share, whatever the things are, and have a good one.